Hey, this is Ben Baxter here at Anglers All in the tying studio. Today I'm going to tie up a complex twist bugger who was created by Cheech, also known as Clark Pierce. Alright, we're starting with a Daichi 2461 size 4 hook. It's a streamer hook, specifically for buggers and flies like that, which makes sense on this particular pattern. Tying in about 10 wraps of lead-free wire here, just to get this fly heavy. And it also helps hold the cone in place. Typically I'd be using some sort of glue to hold this in, but it's not necessary. Get our 210 black Danville thread started here. Just cover all those wire wraps. Advance your thread to the back. Taking a couple pieces of some select Marabou. Gonna want to make the tail a little bit longer than the length of the shank. This first one I kind of try and trim out a little short. Get another chunk here. I'm going to tie in 3 chunks, and I'm using the side feathers on that select Marabou as opposed to the tips. I feel like the side just creates a little more volume in the tail. The tips on the select Marabou can get pretty skinny. Grab one more chunk here of these side feathers. This has been one of my favorite patterns to play with the Senyo's Aqua Veil, UV Polar Chenille, Strung Schlappen. You can use Strung Saddle if you want it to be a little more traditional, like your standard woolly bugger, a little stiffer. Alright, now for the fun part of this fly, tying in the materials that make this a complex twist. I've got 2 pieces of Schlappen, just some standard strung Schlappen that I'm going to tie in here towards me. And a little bit of some dyed UV Polar Chenille and an olive. On this pattern I'm kind of doing the thin mint version minus the tail, obviously. So we're just tying in this UV Chenille back here. Now I'm just going to try and bulk up this body in the middle here with this 210 thread, which is very handy to have thicker thread at this point. It does burn a little bit of thread for you, but I think it helps the overall fly look a little bit better. So this is the Cocodrillo tool from Danville, which we have here at the shop. You see you can hold, it's kind of like a hackle clip or hackle plier. You can hold here and this part spins. It's real easy to do this particular pattern with this tool, almost ideal for it. So what we're we're gonna do here is grab all three, the 2 pieces of Schlappen and your polar chenille. Get them locked in those teeth pretty well. And just start twisting, give it a couple twists, 3, 4, 5 twists. And then I'm gonna grab my dubbing brush here. And as I'm twisting, I'm brushing this out. This is kind of an essential part of this pattern. Really want to make sure you do that. After the first couple twists, if you twist it too much and then try and brush it out, it's gonna get all bunched up on you and tangle, and then it's not gonna look quite so clean. Right about here, we've got a pretty good looking complex twist, if you will. You can kind of see the taper here. It goes kind of from short to long, which is kind of your standard look for a bugger. Get my thread out of the way here, and I am just gonna, don't let go of that. Just start twisting this up now. A couple more twists. Pull everything back. Couple more twists, and we're good. Got it right up behind the comb there. Make sure your thread's out of the way before you do this, otherwise you just let your fly completely unravel. Get a couple good wraps back securing that twist in. Might even do a half hitch here if I want, just to kind of finish that part off. Last but not least, we're gonna grab a little bit of Fly Fish Foods Bruiser blend. Just separating this dubbing out here, just pulling it apart, putting it back together, just to try and make these fibers a little bit shorter from side to side. You'll see why here in a second. That looks good. I'm gonna lay this dubbing all the way around the cone head. Do a soft wrap around the cone. Pull tight. Do another wrap there. Pull all that back. Do a couple wraps there. I'm gonna grab one small more clump here. Do that one more time. Don't need it quite as thick this time. I got a pretty good chunk the first time around. Flip this guy over, make sure I get some on the bottom here. Same thing, just kind of covering the cone head. Do a real soft wrap, and then pull back. Gets that dubbing right. You can see how clean that looks. Right behind the cone head. Good little technique if you're making any kind of collar on your flies. Ooh. And whip finish. That's pretty much the extent of your fly. I'm gonna do a second one here. You never know, and a knot might fail. Being a fly fisherman, pretty sure all of you know how that goes. About your thread, and there's your completed fly. You can brush some of that dubbing out. I'm sure there will be some excess there if you want to clean it up a little bit. Pretty sleek looking fly. I really like this because that chenille in there really helps keep the volume. Also this dubbing up front also helps keep the shoulders on this fly too, and then you get that real thin taper at the back with that Marabou Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram and look us up on Vimeo.